Imagine this. It's the 1940s. The world is recovering from war, Detroit is booming with factories, and a baby named Thomas William Selleck is born into an ordinary working-class family. Nobody, not even his parents, could have guessed that one day this kid would grow up to be one of the most recognizable faces on television. And later, at 80 years old, reveal shocking truths about the Hollywood system and the man who shaped his entire life. But here's the twist. Tom didn't grow up dreaming of acting, fame, or Hollywood mansions. He wanted to play basketball, he was tall, athletic, and by the time he reached the University of Southern California, he had earned a basketball scholarship. That was supposed to be his future. Sweaty gyms, packed arenas, maybe even the NBA. So how does a college basketball player with zero plans for acting suddenly transform into a Hollywood heartthrob? This is where fate and a little bit of scandal steps in. While most of his teammates focused on the game, Tom caught the eye of a drama coach at USC, not because he was already an actor, but because of his looks, his voice, and his presence. In other words, Hollywood bait. He was convinced to try acting classes, and at first Tom didn't take it seriously, but then came something that completely changed his direction: commercials. His first real taste of show business was in the 1960s, when he landed Pepsi ads. And let me tell you, those weren't just any commercials. They were everywhere. Millions of people saw his face without even knowing his name. And it gave him a small, dangerous taste of the attention, the fame, the money, and most importantly, the possibility of more. It's almost scandalous when you think about it. Tom Selleck was supposed to be an athlete. Instead, the entertainment industry lured him in step by step until it was too late to turn back. And once that door cracked open, Tom realized something. He had a chance to become much bigger than basketball would ever allow. But here's the part Hollywood doesn't show you in glossy magazines. It wasn't easy. In fact, Tom's early career was full of rejection, humiliation, and broken promises. He didn't walk straight into stardom. He hustled. He auditioned for roles that went nowhere. He took tiny, blink-and-you-miss-it parts on TV just to keep his name floating around. He even appeared on The Dating Game, not once, but twice. And while that might sound funny now, back then, it was almost embarrassing. He was trying anything, absolutely anything to get noticed. And here's where things get really interesting. While Tom was struggling, he started crossing paths with Hollywood insiders. And one of those connections would change his life forever, though he didn't know it yet. His friendship with James Garner, a seasoned actor with a reputation for both charm and integrity, would later guide him through some of the darkest and most dangerous parts of fame. But back then, Tom was just another handsome guy in Hollywood, barely scraping by, waiting for his shot. Sometimes he was even offered big opportunities, roles that could have launched him early. But here's the scandal. Hollywood didn't trust him yet. They liked his look, but they weren't sure if he had the talent. He was passed over again and again for roles that ended up making other actors famous. Think about that. Tom Selleck, the man who would later define cool masculinity in the 1980s, was considered a gamble. He was told no far more times than yes. And if he had given up, then we'd never know his name. But Tom had one thing that Hollywood underestimates: patience. He knew his moment was coming. He didn't know when or how, but he was ready. And that moment was closer than anyone realized. Now here's where Tom Selleck's story takes a wild turn. Imagine being this close, one signature away from landing one of the most iconic roles in movie history, and then having it ripped out of your hands. That's exactly what happened to Tom. In the late 1970s, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were hunting for the perfect actor to play Indiana Jones. They wanted someone rugged, charming, masculine, but also relatable. Someone who could make audiences believe he was both a tough archaeologist and a witty adventurer. And guess who was their number one choice? Not Harrison Ford, not anyone else. It was Tom Selleck. That's right, Tom was the original Indiana Jones. He did the screen tests, he wore the fedora, he cracked the whip. Spielberg and Lucas were convinced this was their guy. And honestly, just picture it. The mustache, the charisma, the presence. It could have been a whole different Hollywood timeline. But here's the scandalous part. Tom never got to play him. Why? Because CBS wouldn't let him go. He was under contract for a brand new TV show at the time. Magnum P.I. The network flat out refused to release him. No exceptions, no negotiations. His dream role? Gone. When Magnum P.I. premiered in 1980, nobody was ready for how big it was about to get. Overnight, Tom Selleck wasn't just an actor, he was a phenomenon. Picture this: Hawaiian shirts, a red Ferrari, a detective living in a beachfront mansion in Hawaii, and of course, that mustache. It wasn't just TV, it was a lifestyle. And Tom embodied it so perfectly that he redefined what cool looked like in the 1980s. But here's the juicy part. Tom almost didn't take the role. At first, he worried about being typecast, about becoming just another TV detective. But once the cameras rolled, everything changed. Audiences fell in love instantly. Magnum P.I. ran for 8 seasons, pulled in massive ratings, and made Selleck a household name across the globe. And it wasn't just popularity, it was prestige. He won an Emmy. He won a Golden Globe. He wasn't just a handsome guy with a mustache anymore. He was one of the defining stars of the decade. Behind the scenes, though, there was pressure. The fame was overwhelming. Women chased him, the tabloids hounded him, and Hollywood wanted to turn him into a product. But Tom kept control. He gave Magnum humor, warmth, and vulnerability, traits most action heroes at the time didn't dare to show. That's why the show didn't just entertain, it connected. Fans felt like Magnum was someone they knew. And here's the kicker. Decades later, when people think of TV detectives, one name still pops up first: Thomas Magnum. That role wasn't just a hit, it was history. Here's the dirty little secret about Hollywood. Most TV stars crash and burn the second they try to jump into movies. The industry doesn't take them seriously. And in the 1980s, Tom Selleck was about to face that exact challenge. After Magnum P.I. made him the hottest man on television, Tom had 2 options: play it safe and ride his TV fame into the sunset, or risk it all and chase the big screen. And let me tell you, Hollywood was watching, waiting to see if he would flop. Then came 1987. Tom took a role nobody expected, a goofy comedy called 3 Men and a Baby. People laughed when they heard it. A baby movie from Magnum, really? But here's what happened. The film exploded. It didn't just do well, it became the highest grossing movie of the entire year. Suddenly, Tom Selleck wasn't just a TV detective. He was a box office star, and he didn't stop there. He went back to one of his first loves, Westerns. In A Quigley Down Under, 1990, he strapped on a cowboy hat and a rifle, proving that his rugged charisma wasn't stuck in Hawaii. It could dominate the Wild West, too. Critics praised him. Fans adored him. Tom Selleck wasn't just surviving the jump from TV to movies, he was crushing it. And here's the twist, Hollywood is cruel. Even with big hits, Selleck never quite got that mega movie star status like Harrison Ford or Tom Cruise. Some insiders whispered it was because of that missed Indiana Jones role, that it cursed him to always be second best. Others said Tom didn't play the Hollywood game hard enough. He refused to sell out, refused to become a product. Whatever the truth, Tom was building something more important than short-lived fame. He was building longevity, and that choice would pay off in ways his critics could never imagine. Here's where Tom Selleck pulls off the kind of comeback that almost nobody in Hollywood manages. Most stars fade, they burn hot, then vanish, but not Tom. Fast forward to 2010. The world had changed. TV wasn't what it used to be. A new generation of actors dominated the screen. People wondered, was Tom Selleck done? Was the Magnum era just a relic of the past? Then came Blue Bloods. And just like that, Tom did it again. Playing Frank Reagan, the tough, honorable police commissioner of New York, Selleck reinvented himself completely. Gone were the Hawaiian shirts and Ferraris, Now he was the head of a family of cops, a patriarch who carried both authority and vulnerability in every scene, and audiences ate it up. Blue Bloods wasn't just another cop drama. It became one of the most enduring shows on television, running season after season with millions of loyal viewers. And at the center of it all was Tom. Older, wiser, but still magnetic. Critics called it his second career-defining role. Think about that. Most actors are lucky to have one. Tom had two. He had become the rarest thing in Hollywood, a star who could evolve, adapt, and stay relevant across generations. And here's the kicker. Tom Selleck didn't just survive Hollywood, he beat the system. While others crumbled under fame, scandals, and bad decisions, he stayed strong by reinventing himself when everyone else thought he was finished. Here's where Tom Selleck's story takes a surprising and almost a scandalous turn. While he was climbing the ladder in Hollywood, he wasn't just building a career, he was also building a family. In 1971, Tom married model Jacqueline Ray, a stunning beauty who had made her own name in the fashion world. On the outside, they looked like a picture-perfect Hollywood couple. But behind the smiles, things were more complicated. Jacqueline already had a young son, Kevin, from a previous relationship. Most men in Tom's position, just starting a career, barely keeping his own life together, would have kept their distance. But not Tom. He shocked everyone by legally adopting Kevin and raising him as his own. That one decision revealed something most fans didn't know. Beneath the fame and the mustache, Tom Selleck was a man obsessed with responsibility, loyalty, and family. And Kevin, he grew up surrounded by Hollywood chaos, but instead of acting, he carved his own path. He became a professional drummer, and not just any drummer. He joined the rock band Tonic, which blew up in the 1990s with hits that defined the alternative rock scene. Think about that. Tom Selleck's adopted son became a rock star. But while Kevin's life took off in music, Tom's marriage to Jacqueline fell apart. After more than a decade, in 1982, the couple divorced. For Tom, it wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was a painful reminder that Hollywood success and personal happiness rarely go hand in hand. Some say that heartbreak changed him forever. From that point on, Tom knew that if he ever found love again, he'd protect it fiercely no matter the cost. And then, in one of those Hollywood fairy tales that almost never happen, Tom found the woman who would change his life. In 1987, while working in London, he went to see the musical Cats. That's where he first saw Gilly Mack, a young British actress and dancer performing on stage. And here's the part that sounds like a movie. Tom was instantly captivated. Not by fame, not by Hollywood connections, but by her presence. Within weeks, they were inseparable. Unlike his first marriage, Tom kept this relationship private. No red carpet parades, no Hollywood headlines. When he and Gilly got married later that year, it was quiet, personal, and away from the cameras. And maybe that's why it worked. In 1988, they welcomed their daughter, Hannah Margaret Selleck. But here's the twist. Unlike most celebrity kids who chase the spotlight, Hannah wanted nothing to do with Hollywood. Instead, she fell in love with horses. She trained, competed, and eventually became a world-class equestrian. While other star kids ended up in scandals, Hannah built a reputation for discipline, elegance, and success in her own field. For Tom, this was more than just parenting. It was redemption. After the chaos of his first marriage, he finally had the family life he'd always wanted. A stable home, a strong marriage, and a daughter who chose passion over fame. And maybe that's the real scandal here. While Hollywood was busy chewing up and spitting out its stars, Tom Selleck quietly beat the system. He built something most actors never find, a real, lasting family. So here's the truth about Tom Selleck. He was never just a mustache. He was never just Magnum P.I. He was never just a Hollywood heartthrob. He was something bigger. While other stars chased fame, Tom chased balance. He traded Hollywood chaos for the peace of his 60-acre ranch in California, where he spends his mornings fixing fences and working the land like an ordinary man. No cameras, no glamour, just dirt under his nails and family at his side. That's where he found real happiness. And if you ask Tom who shaped him most, he won't name a director or a producer. He'll tell you it was James Garner, his mentor and friend. Garner taught him humility. He taught him that family comes before fame, that being a man isn't about the spotlight, it's about integrity. At 80 years old, Tom Selleck has nothing left to prove. He beat Hollywood at its own game, not by playing harder, but by playing different, by choosing love over scandal, by choosing privacy over chaos, by choosing legacy over hype. And maybe that's why he still matters today. Because in a world obsessed with quick fame and faster downfalls, Tom Selleck is living proof that you don't have to sell your soul to become a legend. Tom Selleck didn't just survive Hollywood, he outsmarted it.